I want you to imagine a world where you and someone else do the exact same job. And in some cases, you do that job better than them, but they get paid for it and you don't. And in some cases, you have to pay to do that job while they get paid for it. Welcome to the life of a walk-on student athlete. I'm going to show you a video from a student athlete that explains what it's like to be a student athlete.
Great question. I really appreciate that question. No, I don't think college athletes are given enough time to really take advantage of the free education that they're given, and it's frustrating because a lot of people say, get upset with student athletes and say that they're not focused on school and they're not taking advantage of the opportunity they're given. I would love for a regular student to have a student athlete schedule during the season for just one quarter or one semester, and show me how you balance that. Show me how you would schedule your classes when you can't schedule classes from 2 to 6 o'clock on any given day. Show me how you're gonna get all your work done when after you get out at 7:30 or so, you got a test the next day, you're dead tired from practice, and you still have to study just as hard as everybody else every day and get all the same work done. Most of these kids are done with school, done with class by 3 o'clock. You got the rest of the day to do as you please. And you're sitting here, you may, excuse me, you may spend a few hours studying, then you may spend a few hours at the library checking out books and just doing casual reading. Then you may go hang out with friends and have a coffee. And when you're a student athlete, you don't have that kind of time. You wake up in the morning, you have weights at this time. Then after weights, you go to class. And after class, you go maybe try to grab you a quick bite to eat. And then after you get your quick bite to eat, you go straight to meetings. And after meetings, you got practice. And after practice, you got to try to get all the work done you had throughout the day. You got from your lectures and from your focus groups. And those aren't the things that people focus on when talking about student athletes. They're upset when a student athlete says they need a little cash. Well, I can tell you from experience, I had negative $40 in my account. And usually my account was in the negative more times than it was in the positive. You got to make decisions on whether you get gas for your car or whether you get the meal for the day. You got one of the two choices. And people think, oh, you're on scholarship. They pay for your room and board. They pay for your education. But to their knowledge, you're there to play football. You're not on scholarship for school. And it sounds crazy when a student athlete says that, but those are the things coaches tell them every day. You're not on scholarship for school. And luckily I was blessed to go to Stanford and a school that was primarily focused on academics. So it was a blessing. It was a little bit better. As Jim Harbaugh would attest, we were also there for football. But there were still guys like Andrew who majored in engineering. Incredibly tough role to take when you're football, because a lot of the classes conflict with your time as a football player. You have an engineering class from 2 to 3:30. There's no way you can do both. You can't go to meetings and take your engineering class from 2 to 3:30. So what do? What do you do? Do you switch your major, or do you tell your coach, hey, I got an engineering class from 2 to 3:30 and I have to go to that? That's conflict of interest. That's what people don't realize. But it's not something that hurts the bottom line in a lot of people's lives, so I don't think it'll be something that'll be addressed, but I appreciate the question. Great.
As a scholarship athlete, you receive a money stipend every month now for cost of living. But that's the problem, it's just for scholarship athletes. I believe that money should be allocated to all student athletes, not just those ones on scholarship. I'm going to do so by showing you real-world examples of how money is allocated and how money is spent in college athletics and who the money is given to. Now, it's no secret that there is an abundance of money in college athletics, especially in the sports of men's football and men's basketball. Now, the NCAA brings in nearly $11 billion every year in revenue. The head coach of football at Brigham Young University has an annual salary of nearly $1 million. A scholarship student athlete at BYU in football receives a check for $1,500 every month to cover their cost of living. A walk-on athlete like myself receives $0 a month for cost of living. So when you have to do what he just said, and you're going through practice every day, and you're going through classes and studying and tests, you have no time to do anything else with your to earn money. Now the solution to this problem is very simple. Instead of giving that money, that abundance of money, just to those scholarship athletes, we need to take better care of all of our athletes and give the walk-on athletes that money too, because they have just as much of a contribution to the team as everybody else does. As an NCAA football player, you're expected to balance a rigorous time schedule that includes practices, class, among social lives, tests, studying, etc. Here's an example of the amount of hours spent each week by sport. For baseball, 42.1 hours a week. Men's basketball, 39.2 hours a week. Football, between football bowl series and football championship series, 43.3 and 41.6 hours a week. All other men's sports, 32 hours a week. Women's basketball, 37.6 hours a week. And other women's sports, 33.3 hours per week. Now, as a student athlete, you are working beyond what a normal person would for a full-time job, and you're doing so for zero compensation. So when you're putting in just these hours alone in your sport and having to balance a 14 to 18 credit hour semester on top of that, there is no time for you to go out and find a job so you can get money so you can live. Now, to fix that problem, the universities and the NCAA need to allocate their money better, as stated with the first problem, to take care of all their athletes and not just scholarship ones. Or they need to make sure that athletes have more free time throughout the day to find ways to make money. So whether that be less time in your sport, or you bring it down to a 12 credit semester, something needs to be done so that those other athletes can find a way to live. There was a case probably 5 years ago at the University of Tennessee where after the game, players were calling their coaches saying, "We have no money to eat and no food in our apartment. We just won you a big game. You're the biggest person on this campus right now, but we can't eat. So either you bring us food or we're going to do something stupid to get it." And their coach brought him 100 Jack in the Box tacos, and then the next day he drives up in a brand new Lexus. So the allocation of money in college sports is severely shifted towards administration and coaches when it should be go more towards the athletes. Your student athletes have a surprising and powerful effect on the national appeal as well as the admissions of a university. In the year that quarterback Doug Flutie won the Heisman Trophy while playing for Boston College, their admissions spiked by over 25%, and the average SAT score of an applying student rose by over 110 points. When you look at that, that's because their team was winning. They were in the national spotlight. People wanted to go to that school. And as a scholarship athlete, you have a huge effect on that because you're playing. But in some cases, you have walk-on athletes like myself who start for their team and they play for the team every Saturday, and they have just as much of an effect on the wins and losses and the national appeal of the school as a scholarship player does, yet they get zero of the benefit for it because they're not getting their school paid for by the university. Solution to this is also simple, just like the other two. We need to take that money that we're getting and allocate it better. With more students coming to the school, that means more people are paying tuition at the school. More tuition is more money. The university has more money, they can allocate more money into athletics and help take care of all the athletes instead of just the scholarship ones. Walk-on athletes will have a surprising and powerful effect on everything at the university, from the success of the team to the appeal of the school on a national level. As a walk-on athlete, I will tell you firsthand that you do not get any benefit of what you are doing. Yeah, you get to play your sport every week, but that's not always a guarantee. And when you have no money to live, and you're trying to think about where you're going to get your next meal from, it makes it really hard to focus on your test this week, or your class today, or your practice in the morning, or going out on Saturday, or whatever day you perform, and being at your best. Walk-on student athletes in general, but especially those that are walk-ons, are not merely just playing a sport of leisure. They're not just here to be amateur and play a sport. They're just as much a part of this university's marketing team as anybody else, and they're also part of a labor force that keeps this university running when it comes to putting on sporting events. Thanks.